Well, hello everyone. Today we're here in this incredible studio where we have the pleasure to meet with a special guest from the business department for this first episode. I'm your host David Doe, and today we got a chance to talk with him as he shared his remarkable journey at Delta College. All right. Well, first of all, thank you, Professor. Thank you for joining me today on the first episode of Professor Star. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, shall we start with a little bit introduce about yourself, sir?
Okay, my name is Jason Lijewski, and I'm an associate professor at Delta College. I teach management classes. I teach Introduction to Business, International Business, Advertising, Business Math. Those are kind of my core courses that I teach.
How long have you been working at Delta College?
It's been 15 years.
15 years. Wow, that's a long time. What are some benefits do you think of taking business class?
I think some of the benefits of taking business classes, if you can understand business, you can really understand what makes the world go around and business's impact on society, on consumers. If you can understand the motivations for corporations, for businesses, they have a lot of power. They have a lot of influence politically, economically. So understanding business, I believe, is really critical to understanding how and why things happen in the world. Yeah.
So, do you think business can contribute to the other academic discipline? If so, how?
I think so. I think it crosses the array of academic disciplines. You know, like I said, I teach business math. So from a math standpoint, understanding percentages and stocks and all kinds of stuff we get into a business math. So from a math standpoint, it crosses multiple disciplines. I'm trying to think of other examples. If we went into, I don't know, geography, math, communications. Business is communications. I think it spans across all the academic disciplines at one point or another.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What are some strategies do you use to promote student participation and discussion?
To promote the student participation and discussion, if you've had me as an instructor, and I tell students I don't like to talk, but give me 3 hours and I'll talk for 3 hours. I like to have a conversation, and I encourage students to participate in that conversation. And the first thing to do is come to class prepared. Make sure you've read the stuff, make sure you've done any assignments, so we all get there, we're all on the same page, and we can facilitate a discussion. It's not just me talking about advertising, marketing, or business. It really engages the students in not only learning from me, but learning from one another. We all have different experiences, we all come from different backgrounds. So I want students to learn from each other as well. And if I can facilitate that conversation, I tell them, you want me to talk for 3 hours, I'll talk. That's not the best use of our time. Let's have a conversation and talk about advertising and how it affects you.
How do you assess student learning and provide feedback effectively?
Okay, how do I assess the learning. I mean, we do the traditional stuff. Traditional assignments, we got quizzes, we got tests, we have assignments. If you can't get that core stuff, then I'd like to assess with the quizzes and assignments and tests. Okay, you get it. Now let's take that and apply it. So how do I assess the students? I assess them on that stuff, but also through other assignments, how they're applying. I'm trying to think what we're doing in business class. We're maybe franchising. What does McDonald's do? What does Starbucks do? And the most one franchise that often comes up is Chick-fil-A, because everybody loves Chick-fil-A. How do they apply these practices we're reading and talking about in class? And then I can assess that from there. And of course, you'll always have students that may not, they're quiet, they may not participate. So it's also trying to bring them along. Hey Joe, what do you think? Because some students don't like to talk in class. So kind of ease them into it And if our class is a community, everybody's pretty comfortable talking.
Okay. So what are some of the common challenges do you face in teaching business courses?
Some challenges. Well, I just, that one, if students, again, depending upon their background, their personalities, they may not feel comfortable participating in classes, participating in discussions. First day of class, I say there's no such thing as a stupid question, right? The only stupid question is one that's not asked. So I encourage them to ask all the questions that they may have. If they have a question, it's likely that other students do. So that's always a challenge sometimes with students that may be more reserved and not open to communication. So in the last, gosh, what's it been, 5 years since COVID, in the last 3 or 4 years, we've transitioned to more online classes. So I don't see as many students as I used to physically. So that's a challenge too. How do I engage them online? And always trying new tactics, new strategies, and seeing what works. How can I get them engaged online? So that's a challenge. Engage students in class, engage students online is a challenge. Those are the main challenges.
Let's see. And with that being said, have you faced challenges in effectively communicating your ideas to students? If so, how do you overcome it?
Yeah, some of the challenges. Every semester brings new challenges, but some of the similarities between semesters are engaging students. Students come from different levels, different backgrounds. Some are shy, some are outgoing. So it's really trying to engage the students to apply themselves. Give it all you can. You're here. Let's ask questions. And it's also doing that not face to face, but online. How do I engage the students? How can we have a classroom of collaboration with an internet course? So it's always trying to find new ways to do that, making it better each semester.
Do you see any latest trends like developments in the business field in your courses? If yes, can you tell me some?
Yeah, I do. I think that's a critical point. Like I said, we read and we discuss, we communicate, we have conversations. Okay, so that's in the textbook. So how is that applying to Chick-fil-A? How's that applying to what does artificial intelligence have? What effect does artificial intelligence have on advertising? So we'll go into conversations in that, and I also use external resources, YouTube, Advertising Age, Adweek. They always have great clips of experts in the field talking about, in this case, the example is artificial intelligence and its effect on advertising. And it's a big one lately, artificial intelligence on business. What's the effect? So I try to stay up to date. I think it's critical that I do stay up to date. The students kind of, I think, expect that. As an instructor, as a teacher, I try and be as relevant and up to date in the field as possible. Things that are going on economically, politically, socially. Bring that into the classroom. Let's have a conversation on how it applies to what we just talked about with global supply chains is one that comes up a lot because of the disruptions in supply chains. With what's going on in the Red Sea right now, before that, some of the Ukraine-Russia, that's affected supply chains. The Brexit, when that happened, all these things have affected supply chains in the last 5-10 years that we haven't seen before. So I like to bring all that in and connect the dots, if you will, with the theories and concepts to what's happening in the real world. Good.
Do you provide any of your experiential learning opportunities in your courses?
Yeah, like I said, I've been at Delta 15 years. Prior to that, I was an experiential marketing specialist. That was my most recent title at General Motors in Detroit. So I try to bring my experience to the classroom. This is what I experienced when we launched the Chevy Volt, the electric vehicle, which is still relevant today with electric vehicles, going back to some of the current events and staying on top of things. These are some of the challenges we had. This is some of the challenges we had when in some of my other in my career when the culture was bad. This is what happened. this is how the culture went bad, this is how leaders tried to fix it, and this is what worked and what didn't. So yeah, I try to bring in all that stuff, and I think it's very valuable that students hear that. It's not just me reading from a textbook. It's this is what happened in 2008 when I was at General Motors, when they were going through bankruptcy. The culture was this and that, and so just a couple examples. So I try and bring that when I can into the classroom.
Do you stay updated any latest trends or developments in the business field into your courses? If so, can you tell me some?
Yes. That's really connecting the dots with what we're learning in class to what's happening in business and in advertising. So I need to stay up on the current trends because I pull that into the classroom. One of the assignments that I have all my classes do are current events. Okay, so we're talking about, let me think of an example, I don't know, financing. Go and find an article about how the small business might have been financed. So if we're talking financing, then they bring in that current event and we have a discussion about it. Okay, this entrepreneur had an angel investor, this entrepreneur had an SBA loan, this entrepreneur got a traditional loan, short-term, long-term, whatever it is. And then we apply that to the class. So staying on top of the current events, artificial intelligence is always at the top of each class, it seems, with its effect on business, with its effect on advertising. Other current events we've been talking about, supply chain issues, with what's going around the globe economically, politically, with wars, natural disasters. That all affects businesses. So we stay on top of those, and I encourage students with their current events to always look into the business articles, to the marketing, to the advertising articles, and see how what we're talking about in class applies.
And last questions. Have you got any advice, or do you have any advice for students who are considering taking business courses?
Yeah, I would encourage them. I went to Delta years ago, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, and that's the beauty of Delta. I teach introduction to business. I tell them it's first day of class. We cover a lot of stuff in a short period of time, so we're going to touch on these things that maybe set a spark. You don't necessarily know a great deal about business, and maybe this portion we touch on in human resources. Oh, that sounds like something I want to pursue. Or we touch on this marketing. That's something I want to pursue. Or it's finance or entrepreneurship. So what advice would I would encourage them? Try it, and that's the beauty I think of Delta, and not only my courses but all these courses. Try it. And maybe you'll set a spark, get interested in something that will determine your academic and professional career.
All right, I see. Well, thank you, Professor Jason. Thank you for being part of today's shows and during this conversation. Hopefully many individuals will gain deeper understanding of the business industry through your insight, and consequently you will receive a valuable support from numerous students who enroll in your courses.
All right.
Thank you for being here on the shows.
All right, thank you.
And thank you for you guys for watching for this first episode. My name is David.